Hello, everybody, welcome. Rose the anchor in the psych investigators. Okay,
Hello.
so hello guys. Hope you're doing well. It's Saturday, almost 5 p.m. Eastern time. And this is the time we start recording. Corinne and I had long discussions today. We looked at a lot of things. So there's a long list of things to go through. So let's do that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so here we are. This is from the Wall Street Journal. It was updated today, early this morning. So as I was telling Corinne, I watched this channel for more than a year, I think. It's basically news, anti-Elon Musk news. So he was talking about this. So Wall Street Journal, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street banks prepare to sell billions of dollars worth of X loans. So banks are hoping to sell the X debt at around 90 to 95 cents on the dollar. Okay, banks are getting ready to sell billions of dollars in debt borrowed by Elon Musk's X, bringing Wall Street a step closer to exiting the nerve-wracking deal that financed the social media company's buyout. Morgan Stanley bankers have reached out to investors ahead of a planned sale next week of up to $3 billion of debt. The bank and others, such as Bank of America and Barclays, lent to complete Musk's 2022 buyout of the company, then known as Twitter. So So anyway, so the point is what is interesting here when I saw this is that here we are, looking at the media. This is obviously financial business news. But when you look at Elon Musk's role in with Trump, it looks like he's winning, like he can get away with everything. But this is the reality, like this is the truth about the true cost of dealing with Elon Musk as a bank.
Yeah.
And but the thing about the reason why I've been watching Elon Musk for a long time, before even way before he got with Trump, it's because I'm very interested. I follow the financial markets to a degree, and the whole thing with Elon Musk and his companies have always sounded like fake to me. There's no point in getting into all the details about the numbers, but it seems like to me I call them I used to call him Enron Muscovite because it's like the numbers are fake. There's no like the price of the stock is too high relative to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the story here, so you could see that this guy, it's like he was just like Trump, right, in the sense that he's like talks big talk, but then everybody loses but him. So there's gonna come a point where this is gonna explode. And by the way, I don't think it's listed here on this article, but I think it was even this Wall Street Journal that called it and said that the amount of money all these banks put into Elon Musk's companies is like something that's comparable to what happened in the financial crisis. So it's a big risk.
Right.
So this is just to show you this. And then, of course, the problem with conflict of interest, for example, Morgan Stanley, um, they they quote unquote gave him these loans, but then they have to promote the stock of Tesla in a way to kind of drive up the value of their own holdings.
Right.
So there's a clear conflict of interest, but eventually this thing is going to explode. So I guess I wanted to show you this, and then I think we'll ask about this too. Oh, maybe I'll ask about it separately. So, what is going on here? Quinn, let's ask about. And I know you don't have to. It doesn't matter that you just see what you pick up. Okay, because
Okay.
of course I'd be more detailed because of that's how I follow.
Yes.
Okay, so let's. Oh, it's a protection. I have done
Yes.
protection. I'd like to ask for protection. A beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head. As I breathe in, I fill my lungs. As I breathe out, I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources that I create the good and only the good. And so it is. Now, I got some information actually. Kind of paused the stop the
Yeah.
process actually, because I got information here as I was doing a protection from spirit, like telling me something, saying, because to be honest, you guys, Quinn and I spent a lot of time talking today, and I'm seeing here
Hmm.
that the marker is 1 hour and 20 minutes before we even started talking,
Yeah.
recording the video. So we see how long it takes. Especially days like today, they're kind of like somewhat difficult to figure out what, right, the direction in a way, right? So
Yes.
about this, it's saying that when you do protection, that this is a difficult time for everyone, right? On many
Hmm.
levels. But the thing to remember is that when you breathe, the light is always within, and the light is always more important than whatever the visible thing might be. And it's
Hmm.
saying even people, for example, who are in horrible situations, like unfairly sent to prison, torture, whatever, they have to look for the light inside because they can't. Doesn't make sense. It's kind of like no matter how bad the situation is, you always have to. And it's telling me, increasingly, the light is going to have more power than the darkness, but you have to step into it. You have to invite it in, and you have to turn off the light onto the dark. Doesn't make sense. So even though we're talking about all of this, still your role is to step into the light and project the light outward and believe what you see under the glare of the light.
Hmm.
So does it make sense? I think it was clear here what it's saying, right? That in some way,
Yes.
you close your eyes, you can imagine all those things that are truthful. And I see Kamala on the podium, she's the president, and like you can be like, oh, but here in the realm of what my eyes see when I open them, I don't see anything. This is not the time to do that. It's like focus inward, ask for faith, ask to be shown things, right? And not like
Hmm.
this is the thing that for everyone to, especially us, right? To focus on more and more the light
Right.
because there's so much chaos and they want to drag us down into this darkness, the fear, the confusion, but you have to be centered inwards. Okay. So that's what I
Hmm.
got. Saying that's right, Rosie. I know you have a lot of thoughts, you have ADD, and this is the moment when you're praying that, that we can get into your head without get you like that. So so that's interesting. So okay, so that's the
Yeah,
message, you know.
that's a
I
great message.
Yeah. Okay. So now that I shared information like this, let's go to the actual news again here, right? And ask. So again, go back to the question. So what is going on here with this Wall Street banks and the X debt? Okay, interesting. Wow. Okay. So wow, that's good. That's good. Into the same house. So so I saw this that there's a like let's say something like Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan, several of let's say it doesn't give me specific ones, but just a group of them that have lent money for this.
Right.
And I say they're standing here in front of Musk, and Musk is like talking to them, kind of like saying to them, I'm with the president, so you have to give me a break. Kind of, it's not that he's like threatening them, but they understand that there's a price to pay like something like this. They understand that there's like they can't be they're a little afraid of him, I think. But this is a
Right.
reality, they still have to sell it. So I see that they're like the same position. Imagine if you're like moving, it's like the debt, it's a become I see these mattresses, but it's not a mattress, just a visual of it. And they still want to sell it. And it starts to weigh down, and the thing, they have to keep holding it. And it gets heavier and heavier and heavier as it goes down until it shows me this collapses. So the value of this thing is going to be zero because you don't need to know accounting, it doesn't necessarily matter. But the point is, these things are eventually going to have to be written off in the balance sheet. And then there's a lot of consequences and then when the balance sheet shows because all these are public companies, their stock is going to go down. And so there's all kinds of consequences for them. So I see that they're like holding on to the rope that holds these mattresses. Oh, it's how there's a in the world of like pump and dumps, especially with
Hmm.
like crypto, they use the term bag. They call it like
Yeah.
you holding the bag. It is exactly what it is. It's a heavy thing that you have to get rid of. That's the whole thing. Like, but then it's heavy, 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 and they can't hold anymore, and it just falls down and collapses. So what it shows is that, and again, I know that this thing, a lot of people want. It's not that I don't want to hear this like conspiracy theories. Oh, banks are horrible. It's not the point. The point is that I think they lent this money in good faith because of the value of the stock of Tesla, right? It was very high.
Right.
But as the whole thing starts to collapse, all of them, right? It's a system. This is the thing. And this is why I think Corey and I think that ultimately it's not like all these wealthy people that give him money and everything, and like ultimately capitalism does not benefit from Donald Trump. That's the bottom line.
Right.
So I see it collapsing now, and so it collapses, he collapses, and that's another reason why I think everybody. I mean, I don't think anybody like actually truly loves Elon Musk, right?
Mm-mm.
There's a cult members, but a lot of bots, a lot of like, and people who do business with him don't seem to like him either as a person,
Right.
right? So the point is, this thing is collapsing, and that's a perfect situation for like Trump to try to dump him, and for NATO to go like he's already is in a relatively weak position, even though it doesn't look like it to the, he's like, oh, he's connected to Trump and everything. It doesn't look like it. And then, right, Quinn? So I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
thought I said all these
No,
things.
no, no. This is your expertise.
So, so tell me if you pick up on.
Yeah. I don't get the details of that kind of stuff, but it did give me the impression that his time is coming to an end. This cannot sustain this business model,
Hmm.
is what I get. The business model that he does and all those people do, it's
Hmm.
not sustainable anymore. And
Hmm.
they've gone, they've done this too many times. So
Hmm. That's right. That's right.
it's just not sustainable. And he is the one that they're going after.
Hmm. Okay.
Makes the most sense right now.
So, okay. So then I saw, now let's go to this thing of like, something else related to Elon Musk. And I think when we had looked into it and I did see that he was not going to happen. That shows it's not going to happen. So, and this is the Daily Mail, of course, is a shady publication, but I like the headline is closer to, because there were other articles where like this was like buried in the lead, as they say, but this is direct. So the woman named Susie Wiles, right? She's, remember, people said she looks like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Duffer. Hmm.
So Trump's ice maiden chief of staff launches brutal takedown of Elon Musk as she refuses to give him a West Wing office and issues stark warning over being co-president. So, and even though, of course, I'm not a fan of this woman, but it's kind of interesting that the people who end up always saying no are the women.
The women, yeah.
Yeah, the only ones. Okay, so all right, so 65. When he confirmed Musk uh, saw her first victory on Trump's first day in office, when he confirmed Musk would not have a desk in the West Wing. Musk has reportedly been pushing for his own room just yards from the Oval Office, but his Dodge team hopes to be based in the Eisenhower building, which is across the road from the White House. The chief administrator's Dodge must also report to Wiles a sign of her control over the White House. Experts believe Wiles, who ran Trump 2016 and 2020 Florida campaign successfully, has what it takes to handle a president. So again, it's kind of interesting that in a way I see that the Trump people are themselves using the whole White House situation as a shield from him, from Elon Musk. But the question then becomes like we know he's insane. He does drugs or whatever the issue is. And by the way, don't people believe that there's never really been proven evidence that he's autistic. That's what he claims is the excuse for being an a-hole and a horrible person.
Yeah, that's no
Not nobody
excuse.
knows. I don't think that's necessarily true. Okay. But the point is this is like, let's go here and let's find out what does this mean for Elon Musk? Because again, what we're seeing here is this pattern that seems to show that Elon Musk is at risk and that he's likely, I think that Trump is trying to move him to get scapegoated. But
Hmm.
okay, so Susie Wiles has blocked Elon Musk's desk and office. What is he going to do next, and what does this mean? Wow, interesting. Wow, wow. Let me know if you pick up on anything, Graham. Okay, so let me know if you pick up on anything
Yeah,
or
go
otherwise.
ahead.
Yeah.
I'm
So
still
I
kind
see
of
that
looking at
he's sitting, Elon Musk is sitting, and he's like, the collar is out of like he's kind of shocked at what's happening.
it. Hmm.
And that he can't, if he was able to himself go, right? Because that's what he did in Mar-a-Lago. He was just like, he was paying for the things like, hey, he would go there. And now the White House, there's barriers, there's boundaries. He can't. And then I see that he's sitting at his desk and there's all these cables coming out of like Elon Musk's, whatever, not obviously not at the White House, wherever he is. And that I see Susie Wiles with a scissor and she wants to cut the contract because it has some contracts with the government. The plan is to leave him, to cut him off and to just kind of dump him, really. I see. We have to cut this guy off because Elon Musk, you know how he is, he can't handle it. Like someone says no to him. He doesn't, this is the thing, he doesn't care if you were Trump or whoever. He will say what he thinks and he will humiliate them. And this may be a mistake on his part because the handlers of Trump are, like I said, concerned. And they're gonna start to like, that's what I see. The plan is let's
Hmm.
cut him, cut him, cut him. And then I see interesting putting behind Susie Wiles saying yes, because they're all tired of this guy taking up way too much room. way too much room. And so I
Hmm.
see someone telling Elon, Elon Musk, and I think we've seen this before. I can see something, Elon, look at Russia, what happens, right? Putin is in charge, and oligarchs have to kind of do what he wants. Otherwise, stuff happens. They're kind of like
Yeah.
telling, and he's like, well, but I'm Putin. I'm not Trump. Like I'm not. So he refuses to acknowledge that limit.
Hmm.
And they're like,
Hmm.
okay, so yes, I see that they start to cut things and to try to push him away, and then he gets like, ah. So that's what I got, Karina. So I have
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I did picked up the big picture of where he just doesn't understand the government as well and how things work. He just thought he was going to get in there and take control over every single thing. And when he doesn't get his way, he pouts even worse than Trump, and he wants to throw a tantrum and do harm and destroy people and all that. But he just doesn't understand the power that they actually have behind it, behind them too, being in the
Mm-hmm,
government.
mm-hmm,
So he's going to be the fall guy of this whole thing.
mm-hmm,
They're just doing it slowly, methodically.
mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
that's that. Interesting. All right. So okay, now let's pause and go to the next. Okay, so Karina sent me this video earlier today. That her I can see your husband, right, Karina,
Yeah.
had watched
Hmm.
it and alerted her to it. So she went right to the part around 8 minutes. I'm going to play this where Gavin Newsom discusses the investigation. There's something off, right? Because we know that the whole thing has been that the right and Trump associates has been blaming Gavin Newsom for this. So this
Yes.
is interesting. It suggests that they're not suggests it's true. He said there is an investigation into this, and okay, so just here.
I called for him to come out, take a look for himself. We want to do it in the spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist. He's the president-elect. I respect the office. We have a president of the United States that within 36 hours provided a major disaster declaration over a text. We had support from the president of the United States, Joe Biden, with 100% reimbursement, all the resources you could hope for or imagine, constant communication. I'd like to extend that to the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full. The state reservoirs here in Southern California, that mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them. We do know, though, from reporting here locally that that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full. And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation to understand what was happening with that local reservoir. That was not a state system reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to as it relates to the Delta and somehow connecting the Delta smelt to this fire, which is inexcusable because it's inaccurate, also incomprehensible to anyone that understands water policy in the state.
No, look, and I think Gavin Newsom is a good
Okay, so Karina, do you want to talk about like the whole the reservoir?
Yeah, I mean, it was just something that they were, addressing during the fires, saying that there wasn't enough water in the reservoir, and people were coming back and going, they're all full, they're all full. Well, here we go, and Pacific Palisades wasn't full. And we did hear that, but there were people that were coming back saying it's normal or whatever. Well, now we know there's been an investigation to open because that was one that wasn't controlled by the state. So,
Okay, so let's ask here, right, Karina?
mhm.
Sorry, did I interrupt you? I don't want to.
No, that's where I was going to stop.
Okay, so let's ask what is going on with this investigation? What have they found? And okay, and
Hmm.
what's
Hmm.
going on with this investigation? And what have they found? Wow, I see that that he has information that he's furious. And by the way, I have a picture. This is what I was doing just now as you were talking to show everybody. He's like, I feel like he's somehow involved. He knows he's involved in this.
Hmm.
We know it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna prove it. He's furious. And okay, I'm gonna now. This is where is it? So, because I just grabbed this from it's so complicated, different. God, where is it supposed to go? get this to the no. Uh okay, on this day. All right. So eventually it's not here yet because I don't know why. It takes forever. All right. So oh I know what I have to do. I have to open this one here. So anyway, so Karina, do you pick up anything? This is what I saw that he is connecting the dots.
Yep.
And I see that he's seeing all these fake people. Like, you know, it could be like a person, I registered to somebody that doesn't exist. There's something he's like, wow, this is way bigger than we could ever predict.
Hmm.
And so and then I see that he's like, whoa, so how are we gonna it's sort of like he's like, wow, now that he's in the federal government, but he's saying I have control of California, I can make it public here. He can't stop us, is what I'm
Yeah.
understanding. So
Yeah.
so
And I feel that might even been the reason why, a reason why NATO might have gone to California.
that's right, that's right.
There's
We
more
talked about it, right?
information there. Yeah.
Remember, we
Hmm.
talked about it, that they had
Yep.
seen something, right?
Yep.
So now here is this photo. This is an incredible photograph, I think. Okay. Let me show you the screen because I saw it on Reddit. Okay, so here's look at Newsom. He is not a
Right.
Christian at all.
Oh, that's what started it. Bob showed me that, and I'm like, oh, the finger in the chest. Ooh wee. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. So how interesting, right? Very
Yeah.
interesting. So wow, wow, yeah. So and I see, look at Trump. Interesting. He's leaning forward. I think we has the issue, right? We talked about it.
Yeah.
And I see even Melania's like, damn. She's like, you go, Gavin.
Oh,
So,
and oh, you don't know it, but the best part is I didn't actually see it. Bob was telling me that. So, you know how Trump always tries to do the handshake where he pulls them in? Well, Gavin did that right back to him. And then as they started to walk away, he leaned in and kissed Gavin Newsom, leaned in and kissed Melania on the cheek.
wait, what?
He leaned in and kissed Melania on the cheek.
Oh, there's a picture of this? I did not see it. Okay. Is that
It
right?
was, I guess it's part of that reel, apparently. I don't know. It may be part of that one or maybe part of a different one, but
Wow. Okay. Wow. 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 So,
talk about disrespecting.
so,
Sorry, I
so
found
this
that.
is, wow, this is an interesting thing because for some reason, I mean, I don't think we know the reasons, but they always attack Democrats, and Gavin Newsom is like hate California is a perfect target for them, like they
Oh,
did
yeah.
with Nancy Pelosi and all the people. So my question would be this too. In the how are things going to like in let's say in 6 months, where is going I mean again timing right is complicated, but let's just say today is January. Let's say July 1st, 2025. Where is Gavin Newsom going to be about this story versus Trump? Okay, about the fires in California. What will the world know about Gavin Newsom and fires in California versus Trump and fires in California? Okay, let's see.
Okay.
So that's right. Wow, I see him on a news channel, and
Yeah.
he's like showing like like a hole or something. This is where they were hiding. This is where they put. And I see that there's people kind of like with handcuffs, and they are like being led to the courthouse, and people are so furious. Of course, in California, that there was and I do see a foreigner. Could be one of I think there's something there where they have uncovered this massive international plot. Really,
Yeah.
it's so this is the thing. This is the thing. And so,
Hmm.
wow, okay, so this is it. And I see, but then I want to try to look at Trump. I don't see him. And I don't, it's not like if it's like, oh, you know, how is that? He was not present. I just don't see him in the scene when this is all out. He's way gone in the background.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I
Yeah.
don't know if you tell me if you pick up something and if it's different.
Yeah. I picked up that it was all out by then. Like we knew they were, everything was being explained and they are going to find a connection with that. Oh my gosh. And you're right. People are just shocked. It's not,
But
it
he
is a
definitely,
worldwide thing. It is. It is
but
a
he,
worldwide plot.
but he definitely clears his name, and nobody ever dares to like trash him again, Gavin Newsom, because I think it's right. Because not
Oh,
only
yeah, yeah,
are they
yeah.
doing this, but they're doing this and blaming him. Can you
Well,
imagine?
of course. Yeah.
So, okay, because that's it. It is their plan to destroy California. That's what I think. Okay, so
Hmm.
wow. Okay, so interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. So
He's always hated Gavin Newsom,
that's
so
right. That's right. Also because the whole, he's like, this is this good-looking guy, Cali,
exactly.
whatever. So
He can't stand anybody who is better than him, that speaks better
that's,
than
that's
him, that does better than him. It's just, if you do that, you're on his enemies list.
interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and Gavin Newsom doesn't back down from him. He goes toe to toe. I mean, look at the finger in the chest. I
Mm-hmm.
love it.
That's right. So, all right. All right. So now this is an interesting article about Jasmine, Jasmine Crockett, uh, the famous, she's a great,
Love her. Love her.
what she said about Marjorie, remember? Bad bitch. Was it bad blonde? Sorry,
Bad, yeah, something like that.
shouldn't say this one.
Blowout blonde, something.
Yeah. So, all right, Democratic congressman has called for an investigation after Donald Trump described Elon Musk's knowledge of Pennsylvania voting machines as the reason he won the state in 2024 election. The remark prompted some opponents of the president to speculate if he was admitting to rigging the election. So at least they're acknowledging this, right?
Mhm.
So here it is during a rally, right? And we show the clip of this. Of course, he knows his computers better than anybody. All those computers, those vote counting computers, Trump told the crowd. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide. So the question um, is this going anywhere? I mean, we kind of know that it is, but it's just interesting to ask. And what does Jasmine Crockett know if she knows more than we do, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. So where is this remark going? I say because I think I think she was a workers prosecutor. Um, and she said that that's incriminating. Like
Hmm.
and that statement in itself is extremely incriminating, and you can use that for investigating. And she knows there is saying they have data that it's completely off. She's been shown the
Yeah.
data of the
Hmm.
numbers on all that because all this election stuff is not new, right? There's so much research information. They
Right.
with into these elections with all the information, suddenly everything contradicts. And in a way, there's a lot of information missing. They know. And I see that she has looked at Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris kind of told her, not in all the detail, but she knows that there's something going on and they can talk
Hmm.
about it. But they
Hmm.
can, she's saying, I can talk about this because this is something he said and I
Right.
have a space and a platform and I can bring that up and I can talk about it. So that's what she's doing.
Hmm.
Now, so is
Yeah.
there, so that's right. It's part of the bit. Sorry. And I see people with military uniform, like kind of hidden, but the so-called deep state, they have information on this, and this is just corroborates further the fact that Trump is guilty. He
Yeah.
knows this. Okay.
Hmm.
So okay, but interesting. But I'm getting this also that Trump, when he made that statement, it was also a means to throw Elon Musk under the bus. It was a kind of a plan for him to make Elon Musk kind of afraid. But go ahead. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what I got, Brenda. Tell me if you got anything else.
Well, what I got was basically what we talked about earlier,
Mhm.
the whole thing with, and that I believe goes into our next clip,
Which
because it
is,
was this with the Greg.
oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was all the same thing we talked about.
hmm So it's saying, I see here, are we close to, no, it's saying they have this, but it's not, we don't know again. I don't get exactly the detail of how or the dates or anything like that, but something is
No.
happening about us, in fact. All right, so let's pause here, right, Karina? And
Yes.
and then let's go to the other one. Okay, so this video here, I got literally, I think at least 30 messages, 30 emails on this. Just saying, Rosie, look, Rosie, look. So Karina, do you want to go ahead and talk about it and describe it?
Yes. Okay. So this was another clip that I was shown, and I know people have been saying to watch it, and I actually watched the very first one that came out when we started doing this way back November 6th, and it came out shortly after that, like in that week or the next week, and I did watch it. And so this one came to my attention yesterday. So I
Mm,
watched it again. I watched this one. And what I wanted to say was he does amazing work, for one, and he's very credible. Um, and what he came up with was exactly what happened and their exact plan to carry the cheating out. So he is right on with his information. He is very accurate. If you haven't seen the video, it is a good one to watch because he does explain exactly how it was done. But what I want to say is when I watched this video, it took me back to the whole beginning of this election stuff that Rosie and I had talked about in the first couple weeks. And it took me back to the bigger picture because after listening to him, he is so accurate and it's exactly what they did. But I remember talking about this, and I'm sure, I think it is on one of our videos where we were discussing the bigger picture. And it made me realize watching this why they didn't do anything. Because he does explain the voter suppression, the 3 million votes that are missing. Yes, that was their original plan. But what hit me too when listening to this, it took me to Ann Seltzer when she started to talk about how Pennsylvania, there's no way Trump was going to win. You know, Kamala had it. Well, that's when they changed up their plan. And I remember saying they had all this voter stuff they were going to do, but something happened in the end that Leon Trump decided they needed more. That's when they went in and went too far, changed the tabulations.
Mm-hmm.
So what he is saying is absolutely correct. But here's the thing. For me, the reason they didn't act on this now is much more clear with this video, because had they acted on this, excuse me, they would have just gotten America's stuff. And to try and fix what this man is talking about in this video, oh my gosh, it would be so challenging to fix that with the people we have in place in this country. So they have to go after the bigger fish. That's why everybody went silent to me, because he does have the proof that they can start talking about now. But the common denominator in all this is Leon. He's not in that voter suppression or the voting counts or anything. That has nothing to do with him. That was all stuff from our senators and our local states and everything like that. So that's not going to solve the bigger picture. Getting Elon Musk is going to solve the bigger picture. So when I saw this, it made me actually, I had so much hope, because to me, everybody did go silent. But that's why. Because this stuff has to be fixed in America, yes, but that's not the fish they're going after. They're
Mm-hmm.
going after the bigger fish, which is this worldwide problem that we all have right now with
Mm-hmm.
our elections being fixed.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot fix that by just going after the voting suppression. And that wouldn't prove Trump and Leon being involved.
Mm-hmm.
That goes down to the lower levels, which
Mm-hmm.
that to me will all be taken care of later.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we've got to go after the big fish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I hope
So,
I everything. So now say what you picked up too,
okay. So,
because there was more
so what
to
I
it.
got, Karina, too, immediately I'm reminded of like, why did Biden win in 2020? Because they have these voter suppression tactics going on, but they didn't have the Leon thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that was, I think, made a huge, this is like how much people voted for Kamala and how much they voted for Biden and how that made a huge difference.
Right.
So so it wasn't enough. I think they knew that whatever the all with all the voter suppression, they just couldn't still win. So
Mm-hmm.
this was the solution, right? And so they have the knowledge of all of it. This tabulation thing is not new. They know that I think I get that they knew that this is how you this I guess easiest way to change it. So Elon came around, and this was all changed at once, because again, I agree with you, Corinna, that the the efforts are very local. and it has to do with specific counties, people in those counties, people in those states. That's very, very difficult to deal with at this moment.
Right.
But does it make sense? So I agree. I agree with him in a way, broadly speaking. But the reality is that at this moment, I think it's the difference that really made that was really accomplished here is Elon Musk, because there was like so many discrepancies, including counties that are always below. Then so they voted for Trump and all that. Like it doesn't make
Right.
sense, right? It's way down.
Exactly. Yeah.
So so it wasn't even proportional, right? So
Right.
so okay, so let's see. What
And
is
and I do want to say one thing about the video, because I know he does say in the video they go against the conspiracy theory that Elon fixed the video. That I do not agree with because I know better.
Mhm.
But that's okay. They're not seeing that. That's okay.
Wait, say it
That's
again.
okay.
He goes against. Say more.
He says that, oh, so the talk about Elon fixing the election is just a conspiracy theory.
He said, okay, but that's what we.
Yeah, because they see the voter suppress, they see the actual
Mm-hmm,
numbers and all that, so they believe that's how it happened. But
mm-hmm,
we see the bigger picture that it wouldn't have been enough and they needed to do
mm-hmm,
something different.
hmm. Okay,
So,
and then just okay, just 1 second here. So, okay, so then going back here, I was just chatting with Karina about something, just some other detail that to say that what I got here is that I don't think at this point, because of the like how fact is that factional or like it's so detail oriented and related to counties and different parts.
mhm,
How is a country going to deal with all of this at once? It's going to take years to unravel all of this,
mhm,
and it has to be taken extremely seriously. And tomorrow I'll go into why I believe there's a bigger reason. Long story. It's a kind of a long story, but I'll make a organize all the links for the next program. And so this is what I was talking to Greener about. But the point is, I think that Elon Musk is the weak link at this moment. And I kept seeing that. Remember that the Telegram CEO was taken down. He was
mhm,
his plane was grounded in France because he didn't want to give information about some accounts or something like that. There's more to that. There's money laundering, something like this as well. But that's kind of what I saw with Elon Musk. And you see that he's now openly telling people of Germany to vote for ADF, the openly neo-Nazi party. And the French president has come out against. I think that Europeans are making they're taking it seriously, very seriously. And I think the moves by Susie Wiles and what's happening with the banks here with his loans, like he's on the downwards.
mhm.
I think he may not see it quite yet, but that's what it looks like. And I think they will get him first.
Yes.
Um, and that is the way out, the way out. I get that the face of Mark Rutte, that they know what was done, and they just like they have to get him, and
Mhm.
they will. It's not clear why, how, or no why, we know why, but how. Like the how with the details, I don't see it, but I just feel like what Palace said. By the way, he's very, very credible. I've read so much. He has so much information about problems with elections in this country for decades. He's been
Yes.
tracking these issues, so he's a very, very credible person. But the point is that to take it down that way is just slow and difficult, and that's why, right, Brenda, I think
Right.
the whole thing has to be taken down, and through Elon Musk, I think, and then God willing, we'll have a new government and they're going to have to prioritize and call voter suppression a form of terrorism because that's what it is, right? Removing civil rights and all that. So,
It is. It is.
so
And when you hear his report about especially who they targeted and why,
mhm,
how, and it's terrible. It's terrible.
mhm,
So they target the races, certain races, they target women, they target young students. So they had it all figured out.
mhm,
Yeah, they had it all figured out. Interesting. But yes, that would take way, way, way too long to prove or
mhm,
to do anything about. Do you know how
mhm.
many years that would be tied up? He would be 4 years into the presidency by the time that happened.
That's right. That's right. So,
So that's not going to happen. It
right, right.
has
So,
to be done a different way.
mhm. Yeah, but that's it, right, Gonna for now. Like that's the
Hmm.
big picture, I guess we call it that. The things are moving, right? They are happening.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The date and all those other things. It's not clear of when or how or right.
No,
So,
no.
but that's it for today, right? 'Cause I think we have
Yeah,
right.
I think that's good too.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think that's it for now. And
Yep.
we'll talk soon, tomorrow, most likely. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so thank you guys for watching and have a good Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. Okay? Uh,
Thank you. Bye.
bye. Bye.